The geopolitical landscape of the Middle East reached a critical boiling point in mid-March 2026. Following unprecedented coordinated military operations, the United States and Israel launched a massive preemptive campaign. Intelligence agencies successfully identified clandestine movements of Iranian ballistic missiles across the volatile Syrian border. These mobile transporter erector launchers were aggressively positioned to threaten Israel's highly populated northern territories. In a rapid strategic response, the Israeli Air Force deployed its elite fifth-generation stealth fighters. Simultaneously, the USS Nimitz carrier strike group assumed attack positions in the volatile eastern Mediterranean. The Pentagon immediately activated its advanced Aegis ballistic missile defense. Iranian military high command responded by placing their subterranean bases on absolute maximum combat alert. Reconnaissance satellites captured undeniable evidence of deep underground missile fueling in the rugged Zagros Mountains. Israel's integrated Iron Dome and David's Sling air defense networks were synchronized for maximum efficiency. Powerful American early warning radars began continuous, deep-penetrating atmospheric scans. United States Central Command authorized highly targeted, preemptive kinetic strikes. MQ-9 Reaper combat drones systematically dismantled massive Hezbollah weapons convoys. Radical Iranian generals publicly threatened the complete and utter destruction of Israel's critical energy infrastructure. Global crude oil supply chains faced catastrophic disruption due to the heavily blocked Strait of Hormuz. American Arleigh Burke-class guided destroyers rushed into the tense Persian Gulf. Western diplomatic missions were frantically evacuated from Beirut and Damascus. Elite Israeli cyber warfare units launched devastating digital attacks against Iranian air traffic control systems. Advanced electronic warfare aircraft effectively jammed GPS signals across the entire heavily contested regional airspace. The Middle East rapidly descended into a state of full-scale, highly technological, and devastating war. Clandestine special operations teams executed secret sabotage missions against deeply fortified underground command and control. Massive bunker-busting munitions were relentlessly dropped on Lebanese Hezbollah arsenals. Iran immediately activated its widespread proxy network for coordinated violent retaliation. Patriot missile batteries successfully intercepted swarms of lethal suicide kamikaze drones. These aerial threats targeted American military installations near Erbil, Iraq. Tactical combat aviation systematically obliterated intricate terrorist logistics tunnel networks. Heavy explosions rocked the heavily militarized border between Lebanon and Syria. American B-1B Lancer strategic bombers launched from the Diego Garcia base. They carried highly advanced JASSM-ER cruise missiles designed for penetrating bunkers. Iran's layered air defense network activated its modernized Bavar 373 missile systems. Official Tehran openly announced an accelerated emergency enrichment of weapons-grade uranium. This dangerous escalation immediately triggered a severe response from the United Nations. Israeli Dolphin-class attack submarines silently deployed into the open Red Sea waters. They are currently patrolling, fully prepared to launch devastating nuclear strikes. In the strategically vital waters of the Strait of Hormuz, an incredibly tense naval confrontation rapidly unfolded between the forces. Fast attack crafts belonging to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps commenced highly aggressive naval patrols. These heavily armed swift vessels carried modern short-range anti-ship missiles. The United States Navy's Fifth Fleet responded with the immediate deployment of additional guided missile destroyers. Heavily armed Apache attack helicopters continuously circled above massive commercial oil tankers navigating the Gulf. Iranian coastal defense missile batteries were abruptly switched into active radar targeting modes, painting Allied ships. American shipborne electronic warfare systems successfully jammed the enemy's optical sensors. Simultaneously, Houthi rebels in Yemen launched a massive coordinated swarm of suicide drones at Western vessels. The British destroyer, HMS Diamond, successfully intercepted multiple hostile aerial targets using advanced Sea Viper missiles. In direct response, the coalition executed a massive, punishing aerial bombardment against rebel launch sites. United States Navy SEAL teams conducted a daring, highly classified amphibious night raid on a coastline. This elite unit successfully neutralized a hidden Iranian radar installation operating from a deserted rocky island. The surgical strike temporarily blinded Iran's sophisticated maritime traffic monitoring network. Concurrently, Israeli SAR-6 class corvettes repelled a highly sophisticated coordinated attack by unmanned underwater vehicles. These autonomous submersibles attempted to covertly deploy explosive naval mines near the crucial port of Eilat. High-definition Israeli naval sonar systems detected the approaching lethal machines. Precision depth charges completely obliterated the autonomous drones long before they could threaten anchored warships. Israeli naval cyber defense units successfully thwarted a massive viral attack. An Iranian sabotage team boldly attempted to hijack a commercial container ship in open ocean waters. A patrolling P-8 Poseidon aircraft detected the approaching hostile helicopters. Warning shots fired from automated shipboard artillery forced the Iranian boarding party to immediately abort. Global logistical supply chains became completely paralyzed due to the unprecedented severe threat to regional shipping. Major maritime insurance companies categorically refused to underwrite war risks. Liquefied natural gas prices skyrocketed across global financial markets instantly. The American Naval Command made the urgent strategic decision to deploy next-generation directed energy defensive weapons. HELIOS laser systems successfully incinerated two encroaching IRGC surveillance drones. This rapid, instantaneous destruction unequivocally demonstrated the overwhelming technological superiority. The Iranian Navy retaliated by deploying hundreds of deep-water tethered mines. American automated minesweeping vessels were urgently dispatched into the dangerous zones. Explosive ordnance disposal divers risked their lives manually neutralizing enemy explosives. The suffocating tension between the opposing military fleets reached an absolute, irreversible breaking point today. Virginia-class nuclear fast-attack submarines continuously scoured the dark ocean floor. They meticulously tracked the faint acoustic anomalies of Iranian midget submarines. On the highly volatile northern front, the Israel Defense Forces initiated a massive preemptive ground military operation. Heavy Merkava tank divisions rapidly crossed the heavily fortified demarcation line under the powerful protection of Apache helicopters. Advanced Israeli mobile artillery units delivered devastating, highly precise kinetic strikes against forward entrenched enemy command posts. Mossad intelligence operatives successfully uncovered an extensive, deeply buried subterranean network. This hidden infrastructure housed massive stockpiles of advanced Iranian ballistic missiles. The specialized Yahalom Combat Engineering Unit began the systematic, ruthless destruction of this secret enemy tunnel labyrinth. Hezbollah militants responded by launching overwhelming massive unguided rocket salvos targeting civilian industrial centers in the north. The tactical Iron Dome defense system operated at the absolute maximum limit of its technological operational capabilities. Tamir interceptor missiles continuously soared into the dark sky, creating a fiery protective shield over vulnerable peaceful cities. Israeli combat aviation squadrons aggressively dropped heavy, bunker-penetrating thermobaric bombs on known weapons depots in southern Syria. These airstrikes completely obliterated massive reserves of precision-guided munition components recently smuggled. Desperate IRGC commanders attempted to secretly deploy elite military reserve forces across the Syrian border during the night. American high-resolution optical reconnaissance satellites immediately detected the massive armored column. United States armed combat drones swiftly engaged the vulnerable military convoy, transforming dozens of heavy tanks into scrap. Joint American and Israeli operational command centers functioned in a continuous, high-stress, secure mode. Seamless digital intelligence integration allowed commanders to order instantaneous, devastating kinetic strikes. The aging Syrian air defense network was completely, systematically suppressed by advanced Israeli airborne electronic warfare jamming pods. This critical tactical advantage secured absolute, uncontested air superiority for the coalition. Senior Iranian military advisors frantically evacuated their established headquarters in Damascus, fearing imminent, highly precise Mossad assassinations. Urban combat operations within the heavily fortified border villages of Lebanon were characterized by extreme, ruthless intensity. Elite Israeli infantry brigades actively deployed advanced robotic combat platforms to safely clear heavily barricaded terrorist strongholds. American heavy strategic transport aircraft relentlessly delivered crucial artillery ammunition directly to highly secured Israeli airbases. Radical leaders in Tehran explicitly threatened to officially open a massive new eastern front. The Israeli government immediately mobilized hundreds of thousands of trained military reservists to completely secure all vulnerable national borders. The entire nation was officially transitioned into a state of strict, total martial law. Psychological warfare tactics also escalated to unprecedented, highly disruptive and dangerous levels. In direct, immediate response to the crushing and relentless coalition attacks, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued a final, highly destructive order. Deeply hidden, highly classified subterranean Iranian missile bases officially activated their absolute most advanced, terrifying weaponry. The Supreme Military Command in Tehran made the incredibly fateful, strategic decision. They authorized a massive, unprecedented hypersonic ballistic missile strike tonight. The primary designated targets were massive American air bases and critical military installations. Enormous, heavily armored steel silo doors slowly opened among the desolate peaks of the rugged Zagros Mountains. Massive solid propellant rocket boosters violently ignited, expelling colossal columns of superheated exhaust. American Space Force infrared early warning orbital satellites instantaneously detected the massive, undeniable cluster of thermal blooms. Blinding red emergency alerts immediately flooded the massive screens inside the deeply secured command centers of the military. The advanced Fatah hypersonic glide vehicles rapidly punched through the stratosphere, entering their incredibly high suborbital trajectories. These terrifying weapons traveled at absolutely extreme, incomprehensible and terrifying terminal velocities, exceeding the speed of sound by 15 times. Traditional computer algorithms governing modern missile defense proved entirely useless against their maneuverability. The Iranian hypersonic gliders aggressively and continuously altered their unpredictable flight paths, deviating from standard, calculable ballistic arcs. Surrounding their incredibly durable composite nose cones, a dense cloud of ionized plasma formed. This extreme plasma sheath effectively absorbed all incoming tracking radio waves, rendering the descending missiles completely invisible. The available time frame for a successful interception was catastrophically, terrifyingly short. Advanced American Aegis radar systems continuously and desperately scanned the dark horizon, frantically attempting to calculate impact trajectories. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers urgently launched dozens of highly advanced kinetic interceptor missiles. However, the incoming hypersonic targets effortlessly evaded, executing unbelievable, extreme high-G lateral maneuvers. Israeli advanced Arrow 3 anti-ballistic missile defense systems also desperately fired their massive interceptors. The contested airspace above the entire Middle East instantly transformed into a lethal battlefield. The world paused in absolutely chilling anticipation, awaiting the catastrophic results of this assault. Iranian state-sponsored propaganda television channels immediately began continuously broadcasting highly edited videos. They aggressively proclaimed the imminent total destruction of all strategic Western military bases. American generals inside the fortified Pentagon frantically ran complex computer simulations predicting damage. These advanced models showed the complete structural vaporization of deeply reinforced bunkers. United States Cyber Command launched a desperate, completely unprecedented digital offensive cyber operation, attempting to aggressively hack the targeting systems. During this absolutely critical, decisive moment, the United States Space Force deployed a highly classified orbital weapon. Specialized orbital electronic warfare satellites flawlessly synchronized their positions in space, directing overwhelmingly powerful microwave emitters precisely. These highly focused, concentrated beams of extreme electromagnetic radiation literally pierced through the superheated plasma sheath surrounding the warheads. This massive, unprecedented electromagnetic pulse induced a catastrophic, instantaneous short circuit deeply within the sensitive internal flight gyroscopes. Completely deprived of precise mathematical telemetry and highly reliable internal navigation, the hypersonic vehicles immediately, violently lost all aerodynamic flight stability in midair. They began to tumble chaotically and wildly as they descended into the incredibly dense lower layers of the Earth's atmosphere. The immense, utterly crushing kinetic energy generated by intense atmospheric friction instantaneously tore the compromised composite hulls apart. Burning fragments of the destroyed Iranian hypersonic missiles rained down brightly, falling harmlessly into the vast unpopulated desert. However, despite this incredible defensive success, two highly resilient, surviving enemy warheads continued their terrifying, lethal plunge toward the carrier. The American naval fleet immediately activated its absolute final experimental defense mechanism, the advanced ship-mounted HELIOS laser weapon system. This revolutionary system instantly locked onto the two rapidly approaching hypersonic threats, utilizing highly sophisticated electro-optical targeting sensors. A completely invisible, totally silent megawatt-class laser beam of highly concentrated light violently struck the advanced carbon composite nose cones. The colossal, heavily concentrated thermal energy violently compounded with the natural, extreme aerodynamic friction of hypersonic terminal flight. The highly classified heat shields protecting the Iranian high-explosive payloads catastrophically failed and melted in mere microseconds completely. The highly volatile explosives contained deep within the heavy armored warheads detonated prematurely, creating massive fireballs in midair. The glowing radar screens inside the tense American naval command centers finally confirmed the absolute successful destruction. Exhausted military operators loudly exhaled with overwhelming, profound emotional relief today, realizing the magnitude of the prevented catastrophe. The technological miracle of directed laser and concentrated microwave weaponry unequivocally proved its unparalleled, indispensable combat effectiveness. The highly touted Iranian hypersonic threat was completely, permanently, and humiliatingly neutralized. This highly successful, unprecedented interception instantly altered the global balance of military power. The Pentagon definitively proved the absolute reality of guaranteed, highly reliable protection. Elite cybersecurity specialists relentlessly continued to aggressively attack and successfully infiltrate servers. They successfully extracted massive terabytes of highly classified, sensitive Iranian military data. Israeli intelligence services quickly acquired the exact, highly detailed GPS coordinates of commanders. The utter, highly public defeat of the Iranian hypersonic missile attack served as the ultimate, irreversible turning point. Completely stripped of their absolute primary strategic military deterrent, the radical Iranian leaders found themselves thoroughly demoralized. The Israel Defense Forces rapidly and systematically concluded their massive ground sweep across the fortified southern border territories of Lebanon. The extensive terrorist infrastructure of Hezbollah was methodically and entirely eradicated, forcing the battered remnants to retreat. The overwhelmingly victorious United States and Israeli military coalition rigidly dictated their uncompromising terms for an immediate ceasefire. The massive American aircraft carrier strike group continues to project undisputed maritime power, confidently patrolling the now calm Persian Gulf. International diplomats initiated the incredibly complex political process of fundamentally reshaping the entirely new geopolitical order across the region. The deeply weakened Iranian regime, facing the absolute threat of complete annihilation, reluctantly agreed to highly intrusive international inspections. Crushing, highly restrictive economic sanctions targeting Tehran's primary revenue streams were significantly expanded and strictly enforced by the Western coalition. The breathtaking, undeniable technological triumph of American-directed energy laser and orbital systems has permanently altered the doctrines of warfare. Every single major global military superpower was instantly forced to urgently reevaluate the viability of their own hypersonic programs. The flawlessly executed interception unequivocally proved the absolute critical superiority of deeply integrated, intelligent anti-ballistic missile defense networks. The State of Israel immediately commenced a massive, highly funded national operation to completely rebuild its damaged northern territories. Traumatized civilian populations are slowly returning to their previously evacuated, destroyed homes, now living under the guaranteed protection shield. This incredibly intense, exceptionally brief, yet highly technological modern military conflict has been permanently etched into modern military history. It vividly and terrifyingly demonstrated the absolute existential importance of advanced cyber defense and maintaining total informational dominance on the battlefield. The United States of America confidently and undeniably reasserted its prestigious global status as the absolute, uncontested military technological leader. A completely new, highly advanced world order, firmly grounded in speed-of-light directed energy weaponry, has rapidly become the undeniable new reality. The suffocating, intense geopolitical tension previously plaguing the Middle East has notably decreased, giving way to a highly fragile peace. However, highly trained intelligence analysts continue to meticulously monitor even the slightest fluctuations in Iranian military activity. The terrifying threat of a clandestine revival of the illicit nuclear weapons program continues to deeply trouble the global expert community. Elite coalition intelligence services maintain a relentless, round-the-clock vigilant watch over the entire region, exhaustively analyzing every single intercepted data byte. This monumental military victory was ultimately achieved at an incredibly high, staggering economic cost. This severe, world-altering geopolitical crisis starkly illuminated the incredible, underlying fragility of our highly interconnected, modern technological world.